You know what the biggest mistake people make? They spend so much time worried about what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is saying, instead of focusing on their own grind. Let me tell you something. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is to keep quiet, lock in, and work on you. Protect your energy means learning how to guard your mind, your heart, and your time like it's the most valuable currency you got. Because the truth is, it is. Every single day, somebody's pulling at you, asking you for something, wanting you to give them a piece of you, and if you're not careful, you're going to wake up empty with nothing left for yourself. You ever notice how some people come around and you instantly feel drained after they leave? That's not by accident. That's because they feeding off your energy. And if you don't recognize it, you're going to let them keep taking until you got nothing left to put into your dreams, your goals, or your peace of mind. Protecting your energy is about saying no without feeling guilty. It's about choosing what deserves your attention. And it's about recognizing you are not obligated to carry everybody's load just because they handed it to you. You got to start treating your energy like money in a bank account. You wouldn't just hand over your debit card to anybody and let them swipe away your balance. So why are you letting folks withdraw from your spirit every single day? Some people don't even mean you harm, but they're careless, they're reckless with your time, and they'll keep showing up with their drama, their problems, their negativity, and if you're not careful, you'll find yourself broke spiritually. Protecting your energy means you set boundaries, and boundaries don't make you selfish, they make you wise. You got to know when to open the door and when to lock it shut because not everybody deserves access to your peace. When you really start protecting your energy, you're going to realize not everybody can go with you where you're headed. Some people are only in your life for a season, and the longer you hold on to them, the heavier your load becomes. Protecting your energy is understanding that you can love people from a distance. You can root for them without sitting front row to their chaos. Because here's the truth. Peace is expensive and you can't afford to give it away cheap. Protecting your energy is not about isolating yourself, it's about prioritizing yourself. When you take care of your mind and your spirit first, you'll have the strength to pour into the right people at the right time in the right way. Protect your energy by watching what you feed your mind. Every word you hear, every conversation you allow, every piece of gossip you entertain, it's all planting seeds. You can't expect to grow positivity if you keep watering your soul with negativity. If you keep listening to doubters, keep hanging around complainers, keep entertaining people who never got nothing good to say, your spirit gonna start reflecting that same energy. Protecting your energy means being intentional about your environment, what you watch, what you listen to, who you let into your circle. You got to start curating your life like it's a playlist because everything that plays in your ears eventually plays in your spirit. And here's another thing. Protect your energy by not arguing with everybody. Everybody don't deserve a response. Everybody don't deserve an explanation. Sometimes the best move you can make is silence because silence keeps your energy intact. The more you argue, the more you explain, the more you defend yourself against people who already made up their mind about you, the more energy you waste. You can't convince somebody who's committed to misunderstanding you. Protect your energy by letting go of the need to prove yourself to folks who ain't even rooting for you in the first place. Protecting your energy also means managing your time with precision. Time and energy go hand in hand, and when you waste time, you waste energy. Stop giving your hours to people who don't appreciate them. If you got a dream, you got to protect your time the same way you protect your energy because both are connected. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you saying no to something that does. Protecting your energy means putting your priorities first, not last. It means organizing your life in a way that serves your purpose, not distracts from it. Finally, protecting your energy requires self-awareness. You got to know what drains you and what fills you. You got to pay attention to the conversations that lift you up versus the ones that wear you down. You got to notice the environments where you feel alive versus the ones where you shrink. Protecting your energy is about checking in with yourself and being honest about what you need because nobody else can do that for you. It's your responsibility to protect it, to guard it, to make sure your cup stays full. Because the truth is, if you don't protect your energy, somebody else will spend it for you. Work in silence means you stop broadcasting every little move you're making and let your results do the talking for you. Too many people out here talking about what they gonna do, where they gonna be, and how they gonna change their life. But all that talking don't produce nothing. When you work in silence, you remove the pressure of living up to everybody's expectations. You stop giving folks the chance to criticize, doubt, or discourage you before you even get started. Silence is a shield. It keeps your vision protected from the noise of opinions. When you stop announcing every detail of your plans, you give yourself the freedom to move without interference, without judgment, and without the weight of somebody else's disbelief sitting on your shoulders. When you work in silence, you create room for discipline. Because when nobody knows what you're building, you don't need applause to keep going, you rely on your own drive. Too many people need validation before they move. They need someone clapping for them just to take a step, but that's a dangerous way to live. If the clapping stops, they stop moving. But when you work in silence, your motivation comes from inside, not outside. You learn to push yourself even when nobody's watching. And that's where true consistency is born. Silence makes you focus on the grind itself, not the recognition that may or may not come. You got to understand that working in silence doesn't mean hiding forever. It means letting the process unfold privately until it's strong enough to stand publicly. It's like planting a seed in the dirt. Nobody sees what's happening underground, but that seed is working. It's growing. It's taking root. If you dig it up too soon just to show somebody, you kill it before it can grow. Your dreams are the same way. When you talk too much about them before they're ready, you risk letting doubt, jealousy, and negativity choke the life out of them. Silence is what allows those roots to grow deep and steady. Working in silence also protects you from unnecessary pressure. The minute you tell everybody what you're trying to do, they put a stopwatch on your progress. They watching you, waiting to see if you fall short, waiting to measure if you're really living up to your words. That pressure can make you rush. It can make you cut corners. It can make you quit when the timeline don't match their expectations. But when you stay silent, you control the pace. You control the timeline. You control the narrative. Nobody gets to rush you because nobody even knows what lap you're on. Another powerful thing about working in silence is it reveals who's really for you. Because when you stop announcing everything, the people who truly support you will show up regardless. They don't need updates to believe in you. They don't need proof to stand by you. They trust your character and your vision. On the other hand, the ones who only hang around for the spectacle, for the news, for the drama, they fade away when you get quiet. Silence filters your circle in a way words never can. When you work in silence, you also conserve your energy. Talking takes energy. Defending your plans takes energy. Explaining yourself takes energy. Every word you speak about what you're doing is energy leaving your body. And if you're not careful, you'll talk so much about the plan that you feel like you already accomplished it, and then you lose the drive to actually do it. Silence keeps that fire burning. It keeps the hunger alive. It keeps you moving because nothing is out there yet for people to clap for or criticize. Lastly, working in silence trains your patience. We live in a world where everybody wants instant recognition, instant applause, instant approval, but real growth don't work like that. Silence forces you to sit in the process, to grind day after day with no spotlight, no cheerleaders, no shortcuts. It builds character, it builds resilience, it builds strength that you can't get if you're always chasing attention. When you learn to work in silence, you stop being addicted to validation and start being addicted to progress. Stop comparing is one of the hardest lessons to learn because the world we live in makes it so easy to look left and right instead of looking straight ahead. Social media got everybody putting their highlight reel out there, showing off the best parts of their life, and if you're not careful, you'll sit back thinking you're behind, thinking you don't measure up, thinking you're losing while everybody else is winning. But what you forget is that you're looking at somebody's chapter 20 while you're still on chapter 5. You can't compare your journey to theirs because you don't know the sacrifices they made, the battles they fought, or the struggles they had to endure when the cameras weren't on. Comparison is a thief. It robs you of joy, it robs you of confidence, and it robs you of focus. When you spend your time comparing, you put yourself in a race that was never designed for you to win because it wasn't your race in the first place. Everybody got their own lane. Everybody got their own pace. Everybody got their own season. And when you're busy looking at what somebody else is doing, you miss your own blessing. Stop comparing means you stop measuring your worth by somebody else's success. Their promotion is not your failure. Their blessing is not your loss. Their shine does not dim your light. You got to learn to clap for people without questioning your own progress, because when it's your time, nobody can stop what's meant for you. Comparison also creates pressure that don't belong to you. You start rushing your process because you see somebody else hitting a milestone, and now you feel like you're late. But life don't work on their schedule. It works on yours. When you compare, you force yourself into timelines that were never meant for you, and that pressure will wear you down, make you anxious, and steal the joy out of what you're building. You have to learn that your timing is your timing, and if it takes you longer, that don't mean you failed. It just means your path required more preparation. Stop comparing so you can breathe in your own lane without the weight of somebody else's stopwatch on your back. Another danger of comparison is that it makes you blind to your own growth. You could be making progress, you could be leveling up, but because you're so focused on somebody else's scoreboard, you don't even see how far you've come. You start discounting your wins because they don't look like somebody else's. That's why some people never feel satisfied. They're always chasing a moving target, always trying to live up to what somebody else got going on, instead of appreciating their own journey. Stop comparing means you learn how to celebrate your small steps, your little victories, your progress, because those things matter and they're proof you're moving forward, even if it don't look like somebody else's story. Stop comparing also protects your peace. The moment you compare, you open the door to jealousy, envy, and resentment. And those emotions are heavy. They eat at your spirit, they cloud your mind, and they make it hard to focus on your own path. When you let comparison take root, you start competing with people who don't even know they're in a race with you. You waste energy trying to outshine them instead of just shining in your own way. But when you stop comparing, you free yourself from that toxic cycle. You learn how to be genuinely happy for others without it shaking your own confidence, because their win don't mean you lost. One of the most powerful things you can do is learn to admire without comparing. You can look at someone's success and let it inspire you instead of intimidate you. You can study their grind, learn from their discipline, and still understand that your path is different. Inspiration pushes you forward. Comparison holds you back. That shift in perspective makes all the difference. When you admire, you stay motivated. When you compare, you stay discouraged. That's why you got to train your mind to flip that switch and see success around you as proof that greatness is possible, not proof that you're behind. And stop comparing teaches you self-acceptance. It reminds you that your journey is unique, that your story is valuable, that your path has meaning even if it don't look like anybody else's. You weren't built to be a copy, you were built to be original. Comparison makes you forget that, makes you chase someone else's version of success instead of defining your own. But when you stop comparing, you gain the freedom to grow at your own pace, to embrace your own process, and to trust that what's for you will always find you, no matter how long it takes. Let success speak means you stop wasting time trying to convince people of who you are, what you can do, or where you're headed, and instead you let your results prove it for you. Too many folks spend all their energy talking, trying to get validation, trying to get approval, trying to explain themselves to people who already made up their minds. But the truth is, the loudest statement you will ever make is the life you build. Success has a way of silencing critics. It has a way of shutting down doubt. It has a way of speaking louder than any argument you could ever make. You don't have to go back and forth with folks when your actions are doing all the talking. When you let success speak, you don't beg anybody to see your vision. You don't chase acceptance. You don't try to prove yourself to people who ain't even rooting for you. You just focus on the grind, on showing up, on doing the work day after day, and eventually your results put an end to every debate. You don't have to clap back when your success claps for you. You don't have to defend your name when your achievements carry it into rooms you haven't even stepped in yet. The key is patience because success don't show up overnight, but when it does, it speaks with authority nobody can ignore. Letting success speak also teaches you discipline because when you shift your energy from talking about what you going to do to actually doing it, you put your focus where it belongs, on execution. Talking is easy, it's cheap, it's quick, and anybody can do it. But building takes time, it takes sacrifice, it takes dedication, and it requires you to stay committed long after the excitement wears off. When you let success speak, you learn to enjoy the process instead of chasing quick applause because you know the real recognition comes when the results show. Another thing about letting success speak is it protects you from unnecessary battles. Every time you try to defend yourself, you open the door to more opinions, more arguments, more doubt. But when you stay focused and let your work prove itself, there's nothing left to debate. People can talk, people can criticize, people can doubt, but at the end of the day, results are undeniable. You can't argue with consistency, you can't argue with growth, you can't argue with progress. That's why silence paired with success is one of the strongest responses you'll ever have. Letting success speak also reshapes how people see you. Some folks will only believe in you once they see proof, and that's okay because your results will give them no choice. You don't have to beg for respect. You earn it by staying committed long enough for your life to reflect the work you've put in. People might ignore your words, but they can't ignore your results. They might dismiss your potential, but they can't dismiss your achievements. When you let success speak, you're not trying to change people's minds. You're just letting the evidence speak louder than the noise. And here's the beauty of it. Success carries weight. When you achieve something, when you break through, when you reach a level nobody thought you could, your success becomes a statement without you even opening your mouth. That's why you don't have to broadcast every little step along the way. You don't have to prove your progress to people who wouldn't understand it anyway. All you got to do is stay consistent, stay locked in, and keep building because the moment you hit that level, your success will introduce you before you even enter the room. Letting success speak also humbles you in the process because instead of chasing applause, you learn to put your head down and do the work. You realize the real reward ain't the recognition, it's the growth you gain getting there. And when success finally does speak for you, it speaks with more power than you ever could have mustered with your words. It shows that you didn't just talk about it, you lived it, you worked it, you earned it, and you built it. Stay disciplined means you learn how to show up every single day whether you feel like it or not, because discipline is what separates dreamers from doers. Motivation might get you started, but it fades, it comes and goes like the weather. Discipline is what keeps you moving when the excitement is gone, when the road feels long, when nobody is cheering for you. It's the ability to push yourself through the moments when you're tired, when you're distracted, when excuses sound easier than effort. Discipline is a choice you make daily, and the more consistent you are with it, the stronger it becomes until it turns into a habit that drives you automatically.